Hello everyone, Griffin here, and today we are in War of the Gods. So once again, I'm gonna show you guys the replays of the battles, explaining what I did, because I'm doing so many fights. For example, right now I have 191k coins of the Treasury of the Gods. Alright, let's get to the first battle. Alright, the first one is this. So, if I remember correctly, my opponent started on this one, and he or she chose Lord Warrior, so I didn't have any info, so I went with the opening of the physical team that I'm using right now. Then my opponent went with Scabrous Blade, Ninetale Fox, so I continue with my physical team. And then my opponent went with some healing, with Vengeance Spirit, great physical damage dealer. And by the way, Commando without the skin is still very good damage dealer. So I'm using her a lot actually. So at least lately, when I'm using this physical team, the fifth hero can be either Arcane Sapper, it can be Flywheel Erin. In some cases I even go with what is the vampire called? I forgot. Bloody Earl. So depending on what my opponent is doing, if my opponent is choosing like magical, middle and backline heroes, I will go with Arcane Sapper. And I found, well, Hidden Needle is always a great substitute. So I really didn't have any reason to go different than my standard physical team. So let's see how this goes. By the way, my Scabrous Blade here only had like 3000 HP of training, so like 1/7 of the total training. And look at Commando, with her ultimate she healed herself completely even when she was about to die. That is pretty impressive in my opinion. And look at the ultimate of Flywheel Heroine. Absolutely destroyed my opponent's team. So I won, and look at the results. And as I was saying, Commando is no slouch. She's carrying her weight, she's doing her damage, so things are going actually very well. Alright, now in the second I had to start. So, yeah, no, it is the other way around. I started in the first one, my opponent started in the second one. I will never open with sorcerers now that I think about it. If I'm thinking of a Master Mage team, I will open with Manipulator. Alright, so my opponent opened with Turtle. I didn't have a reason to think that I will need my Master Mage counter, so I didn't go with the opening of Holy Priestess, so I went with Classical Sorceress Thunder Beast, which can go either Master Mage, can go Magical Bursting, which is usually a good idea against Total Fire teams. Then my opponent went with Manipulator and what is it called? Lightbringer. So, alright, I started to think maybe my opponent is gonna use Master Mage, because back in the day a lot of people used to do Master Mage team with Turtle Tank. They are pretty useful in, or were kinda They were pretty useful in arena even, and the grand arena too. And you could see them a lot in championship actually too. So I went with Manipulator and Magic Breaker to try and silence my opponent's Manipulator. I was thinking that Manipulator had more intelligence than Lightbringer, but I was not completely sure. Anyway, my opponent then went with Master Mage and Chaplain. So here I got confused because my opponent was not selecting damage dealer. So it was like, what's happening here? Either way, I just completed my Master Mage. There was no point right now in trying to change it. So I went with Master Mage and Witch, which is also a classical substitute. Then my opponent went for Chemist. I mean, I will understand it if it was Chemist with skin, because with the skin, if Chemist does his ultimate, he can drive the whole team at the same place, and then his ultimate can hit everyone in the team. On that case, I would have understood it. Like this, well, you can see how it went. Alright, so far, and it was Master Mage that got silenced for obvious reasons. She has the highest intelligence here. And then my opponent Master Mage is getting healed. So I'm not sure if my opponent's Manipulator ultimate got cancelled there or not, but well, Manipulator is the hero that got silenced there, so yes, she has a higher intelligence than... Oh, that explosion. A higher intelligence than Magic Breaker. And then my opponent's Chaplain started healing again. And then I realized I don't have a healer. So my Manipulator did her taunt, and even when yes, I won, I actually believe that if my opponent had the Chemist skin, I would have lost that fight. So that might be a possibility. If you have the Chemist skin, you can do something like that team, because it was kind of working. Once again, if Chemist with the skin would have been there. But anyway, that's the first fight that I wanted to show you guys. Now let's get to the next one. Now I'm gonna show you a fight against this guy level 109. So let's see. I actually don't remember who started what, but as you can see from my team in the first fight, I went with a classical quotation marks physical team, since my opponent was using kind of a standard team, like a good tank, 2 great damage dealers in Ninetale Fox, and what is it called, this girl? I forgot, Shadow Reaper. So they have some healing in Chaos Doctor, and then I was surprised by the inclusion of Merman on that team, but the team was actually pretty nice. Chaos Doctor is a better hero than many give him credit for. And so since I saw Chaos Doctor, Ninetale Fox and Shadow Reaper, I went with my Arcane Sapper instead of Flywheel Heroine. So let's see how that battle went. Alright. My Arcane Sapper is in the middle of the opponent's team. So far there's nothing that suggests that I will have too much trouble. But then Shadow Reaper started jumping, and that is always scary. But then Shadow Reaper got killed by my Halberd Master. And my opponent's Halberd Master is actually fighting my Scabreless Blade. And my Scabreless Blade couldn't kill my opponent's Hercule. So far things are going well. I have more heroes than my opponent. And Hercule is down. And Hidden Needle was able to survive the ultimate of my opponent's Halberd Master, which is surviving way too much. So as you can see, me using Arcane Sapper here made my life easier by killing very quickly Ninetale Fox, by damaging a lot my opponent's Shadow Reaper and Chaos Doctor. So one of the attacks of Arcane Sapper, at least I think so, because Shadow Reaper didn't jump as many times as I would have expected. Maybe interrupted, I was not able to see it well because all the heroes were crammed, but maybe some interruption there was also very good for me not to receive so many jumps from Shadow Reaper. Well, Halberd Master is always a good hero here. And once again, my Scabreless Blade doesn't have that much training. I can show you in a minute. Alright, now the second fight. So my opponent went with what could be a Master Mage at the start or a Bursting. So I went with something that could work for either my Holy Priestess and Void Master. Then my opponent went for two more backliners, so I was like, okay, this should be a Master Mage. So I continued with my Master Mage counter, which is Cross Knight and what is this guy called? Skeleton Mage. So Skeleton Mage can be good because he can receive some of the damage from the ultimate of Thunder Beast. Well, not him, the dragons he summons. One of the dragons actually receives the Fierce Ball of Sorceress, and the attacks from the dragons can also touch Witch while she has her ultimate, so the ultimate gets wasted. And then I'm pretty sure that my opponent had some internet problems because I don't see any reason to use Commander there. Like, only reason I can think of is the amount of HP that she gets to female heroes with her legendary, but come on, it's Commander. So I went with my classical counter, which, as I said before, this is a counter that Alendris showed in a video a long time ago. And the way it works is like this. So a hero gets grabbed, then it gets the green skill of Void Master. The green skill of Void Master will prevent said hero from doing anything, and in many cases even doing the ultimate. And well, so far we are in good health thanks to Holy Priestess. And then some explosions, and then the ultimate of Void Master, and it is over. So as always, this counter is working very well. Okay. So that was a relatively easy fight, but I think it's nice to see once again that this Master Mage counter is working, and that having powerful damage dealers on your side of the field doesn't mean it's going to be a good time for you. You can just kill them by countering them like I did on the first battle. Anyway, let's get to the next match. The next fight is against a high VIP player. So the first fight, if I remember correctly, I started on this one, so I went with Halberd Master, a common opener, because actually Halberd Master can fit in many teams, not only in physical teams. So my opponent went with Arcane Sapper and Ancient Statue, so a good damage dealer and a good control hero, plus support. So I went with continuation of my physical team, like those two heroes don't exactly make me want to change my idea. So my opponent went with Blade, and I was surprised that my opponent went with Ninja. I kinda think that was a misclick. So then I went with Flywheel Heroine and Commando. The reason why I went with Flywheel Heroine other heroes is because she has what do you call it? A show. The skill when she spins her flywheel, and then the heroes that are close will be turned back. Knockback. That's what it's called. It's a knockback. So that can actually stun for a little bit Arcane Sapper and give me the necessary time to, or at least give my hero the necessary time to kill him. And then my obvious substitute, and my opponent also went with the same substitute, and let's see how it goes. So far nothing weird. There's a knockback, which is what I was talking about. And there. Enough time for my heroes to kill Arcane Sapper. And goodbye Shadow Reaper. And only my opponent's Healing Needle is left. But against all the firepower that I had, there was no contest. And look at that, Commando is fierce damage dealer. So yeah, she is worth it. And mine is not fully trained yet, it's like 70%, 80% trained, but not fully, and she's already doing this kind of damage. So the second match, my opponent started, went with Turtle, so as long as I didn't use directional heroes, I had no reason to not go for my Burst team / Master Mage. So I went with Sorceress, Thunder Beast. Then my opponent went with no healing guy, Halberd Master, and Hercule. So since Hercule has his ultimate that stuns my entire team, I went with Magic Breaker because the last thing that I want is my team to be stunned after Master Mage dies with those kind of heroes in front of me. So I went with Magic Breaker and then with Manipulator. Then my opponent went with more physical heroes, and one of them has an ultimate that can also stun in Steel Champion. Yeah, Steel Champion. And more damage in Skywire is a Sky Warrior, the Sky Guardian. So then I went with Master Mage and Witch, and my opponent went with the bane of my existence in this game, which is Imperial Marshal. So you will see how this went. I hate Imperial Marshal. The good thing is that he's gonna get nerfed soon. In the test server he's already nerfed, so that's a win in my book. So at first I thought that I was able to cancel my opponent's Sky Guardian's ultimate, but I was mistaken. Look, she's doing her ultimate, killing heroes left and right. And well, that cost me because Sorceress died like that, Manipulator died like that. So yeah. And with my Witch under the taunt of Turtle Fighter, I lost. So the last fight I started, I didn't know if my opponent would go with some other composition or maybe just a Master Mage, so I went with Holy Priestess. My opponent started with a tank and an off tank, and the fact that he went with Ooze, the only reason why I can think that he will go with Ooze is that he thought that I will go with magical damage dealers, and that Ooze has kinda good magic resistance if I remember correctly, plus it has a slowdown, but other than that it's not ideal. I have no idea where my opponent went with that. So anyway, I went with, let me tell you guys, Ember Star, even without skin, it's a monster. And then with a tank, so I went with the RQ. My opponent went with Holy Priestess and Mechanical Barbie. Those two are very good choices. Then I went, just because I had the strange feeling that my opponent will go with a good physical damage dealer. At the moment, at the time that I was playing, I was thinking like, what other physical damage dealer is there left? But I don't know, I thought there would be some physical damage dealer, so I went with Cleric and with my Ninetale Fox, and lo and behold, my opponent goes with Treasure Guardian. Is Treasure Guardian or Treasure Hunter? Something like that. Anyway, he's a very good damage dealer, and if you have not tanks cramped in the same place, for example, my full Master Mage team can die if they are crammed in the same spot by one ultimate of Treasure Hunter. So choosing Cleric before that was actually very good for me. And Sorceress as a substitute is actually a pretty solid choice. Like, she comes out, she ultimates, delays any other ultimates that I can do, and she's still doing lots of damage. And then I went with Shadow Reaper as substitute, which never hurts. And let's see how it goes. So yeah, there's the slowdown that actually made my heroes to be a little delayed, but Ooze is knockback, and then my Ninetale Fox starts over there, which was actually pretty lucky on my part, that Ninetale Fox started her ultimate just when Treasure Hunter started charging his ultimate. And Dragon Lord barely survived the ultimate of Ember Star, but she's still doing a lot of damage. And Ninetale Fox is like, nope, I'm gonna kill everyone. But Holy Priestess is actually keeping everyone alive very well. Then I received some damage there, but thanks to Cleric once again I was able to resist the attacks from Treasure Hunter. And my Ember Star tries to kill Holy Priestess and she succeeds between one ultimate and her burst attack. And at this point it's pretty clear that the fight is going my way. And let me show you something. We can agree here that this fight was pretty advantageous for Ninetale Fox, but even then, Ember Star was able to match her damage. So do not hesitate to train her, to get her to Red +4, to get her academy, and by the way I got her academy, so that gives her a lot of extra points, especially the ignore magic resistance, and that extra bit of HP can help sometimes. Especially because with her shield, her survivability can go very well, even surviving freaking Arcane Zapper. So yeah, I won. And that's all that I'm gonna show for now, guys. So thanks a lot for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, subscribe, comment and share with your friends. And I will see you next time. Griffin out.